Thanks for staying tuned. I'm Colwyn Abrams with this edition of the HGP Sportscast. The Guinness Round of 16 kicked off last night at the National Culture Centre tarmac, with Future Stars triumphant over Kingston and Leopold Street piping Old School Ballers for their semi-final spot. Stanford Howard was there and filed this report.
In the first game of exciting round of 16, Guinness in the Streets encounter last night, Goal is Money battled the GTI Ballers. It was Dion Alfred who started the onslaught for his team in the 4th minute. Jamal Pedro 3 minutes later netted before the first half ended. GTI Ballers came out in the second half attacking, but balls flew above and past the goal. It was Dion Alfred once again in the 20th minute who scored the third goal for Goal is Money. And Michael Pedro, with a Guinness goal, which is counted as 2 goals in the 25th minute, put his team to a 5-0 victory over GTI Ballers. The second encounter of the night between Queen Street Tiger Bay and Upsetters ended with Tiger Bay winning 2-1 on penalty kicks. In Game 3, Rising Stars made light work of North Rongveld after a goalless first half. It was a strike from Jamal Williams in the 22nd minute that gave his team the win 1-0. Halfway through the round of 16 in Game 4 saw Future Stars giving Kingston a playground whipping with Jamal Cozier in the 6th and 21st minutes and Kevin Griffith in the 27th minute with a Guinness goal. And Kingston was left to lick their wounds after an own goal to give Future Star the 5-0 victory. In other results, for the HGP Sportscast, I'm Stanford Howard.
The Ghana Football Federation installs a steering committee in Region 1 as the region moves closer to becoming a GFF Regional Member Association. Region 1 has moved one step closer to becoming a regional member association of the Ghana Football Federation, with the establishment of a steering committee at the Maruka sub-district. The committee was presented with its terms of reference, which includes, among other aspects, the development of a constitution and the registration of clubs in the region. President of the GFF, Wayne Ford, who was among a 3-man visiting team, disclosed that the GFF is pleased to offer the structure and organization necessary to enable the region to maximize its resources, with the expansion of football across Guyana, since this is a mandate of the GFF Executive Committee. He further stated that the GFF has a moral obligation to give every young boy and girl the opportunity to play football, and within the Bremawini community, there are a lot of passionate and talented young footballers. Ford said while this is considered an ad hoc committee under the GFF's constitution with a 6-month lifespan, the goal is to propose Region 1's membership to the Congress in May 2018. But that will be based entirely on the work the steering committee does to demonstrate to the executive committee that they are worthy of being inducted as a member of the Ghana Football Federation. Local government and other stakeholders within the district were encouraged to support the new committee. The steering committee will see GFF's immediate technical support to the region via capacity building sessions to identify coaches, referees, and others as necessary. In cricket news, the selection panel of Cricket West Indies announced the Windies squad for the 3-match one-day international and the 3 2020 international series on the current tour of New Zealand. The list of the ODI and T20 squads will be displayed on the screen. The CWI selection panel noted that left-handed opener Evan Lewis will miss the T20 International Series due to personal reasons. Due to the suspension of Captain Jason Holder, Craig Brathwaite has been selected to lead the Windies in the second test against New Zealand, which starts this Saturday. Russia will not prevent any of its athletes from competing independently in the Winter Olympics in February, says President Vladimir Putin.
Individual clean Russian athletes will be able to participate under strict conditions at the Olympic Winter Games Pyeongchang 2018.
The International Olympic Committee has banned Russia from the Games in South Korea after 2 investigations outline a state-sponsored doping program. But athletes who can prove they are clean and have not previously been sanctioned will be allowed to compete. Russian President Vladimir Putin further stated that there will not be any kind of blockage. Russian state TV channels have said the allegations are an anti-Russia witch hunt. A Kremlin spokesman said that the situation was serious and required deep analysis, but he called for Russians to avoid an emotional response. A member of the Russian parliament has filed a lawsuit against the former sports minister, Vitaly Mutko, over the row. Mr. Mutko has been accused of presiding over a systematic cover-up of doping in Russian sport. Meanwhile, 22 Russian athletes have appealed to the Court of Arbitration for Sports over the IOC ban. And finally, in tennis news, Serena Williams has entered the Australian Open in January. The 36-year-old won this year's event in Melbourne while in the early weeks of pregnancy and gave birth to a daughter in September. Williams, who has won the Australian Open 7 times, has posted on social media that she has returned to training. Australia's Margaret Court, with 24, is the only player still ahead of Serena in terms of Grand Slam single titles. And that has brought us to the end of this edition of the HGP Sportscast. Before we go, remember, adversity causes some men to break and others to break records. Goodbye.